Okay, this is part 2 of lesson 10-8, equations of circles. Here, they're going to give us the equation, and we have to graph the circle based on the equation. So if we look at this first example here, what do we notice? Well, we know our formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So the three things we're looking for is h and k, that makes up the center of our circle, and the radius, right? So we can actually rewrite this equation right here to kind of see what they're saying. So I would write x minus, that's part of my formula, and then to make this a plus, I had to have had a -3 squared plus y minus, and then to make this a +1, I had to have had -1 squared equals, and then what did I square to get 9? What's the square root of 9? 3. 3 squared. Okay, so this equation they gave us is the same as this one I just wrote, except now I can clearly see the 3 pieces of information that I need. The center of my circle is at -3, -1, and the radius of my circle is 3. So when I graph this, I'm going to plot the center, -3, -1. So I start at the origin, I go backwards 3. Okay, so they messed up the sign here. I found 2 other issues with these worksheets so far. This should have been a minus sign, not a plus sign. If this was a minus, then this would be a +1, which is what they've graphed here. That's a mistake on their error, sorry. Okay, so when we graph -3, +1, we go backwards 3, up 1, and then the radius of our circle is 3. So we're going to go straight up 3 units and put a dot, go straight down 3 units, put a dot, go to the right, put a dot, 3 units, go to the left, put a dot, 3 units. Okay, beyond this, you've got to just kind of eyeball it, right? You've got to be able to say, okay, it's about 3 units diagonal. It's about 3 units diagonal, 3 this way. 3. I'm going to try and kind of draw an even circle through these 4 points. But all we really have to go off of are these 3 points. These are our radius, the radii of our graph. Okay? Yeah, up here when they wrote it a second time. I can't believe they did that. When they wrote it a second time, they had a minus sign here this time. Up here, they had a plus sign. All right, that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fine. All right, so for number 1, I kind of went through and started rewriting some of these for you. So for number 1, we have to graph this. Well, first of all, it doesn't look like my formula, right? What happened to this first term? X squared, it should have been x minus h squared. So what would h have to be to turn this into x squared? 0, right? Same thing with y. What turns y minus a number into just y? Well, that number should have been 0, right? And then 16 is really the radius squared. So to figure out just what the radius is, I take the square root of 16. So I rewrote it this way so I can see that the center of my circle is at 0, 0, and the radius is 4 units. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, put a dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, put a dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's kind of giving me guidelines on how to draw my circle. Beyond that, I'm just sketching it, so I just kind of want to make it, you know, I didn't go out far enough. Evenly round. It's okay if it's not perfect, but it should look, you know, pretty close to a circle. Something like that. It's not a perfect circle, but gives you an idea of what the circle should look like. For each circle with the blah, 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 then graph the equation. So that's our graph. We're just sketching the graph. Okay, for this guy right here, my circle, my 2 points that I'm looking for, remember that we don't look at the minus sign, we just look at the number after it. So 2, 1. So my center of my circle is over 2, up 1. Okay, and then my radius is 3. Oh, why did I go backwards 2? Sorry, over 2, up 1. My fault. Ignore that. Okay, here's the center of my circle. Sorry. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. To the right, 1, 2, 3. To the left, 1, 2, 3. And down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that gives me a guideline. And then I'm going to sketch my circle to go kind of, you know, through these points evenly. Okay, the idea is that anywhere on the circle, if we measured any point on the circle from the distance, we should get 3. Okay, next one. Number 3. We've got an equation that looks like this. So we know, since this is a plus sign, this is really -2, the second number. There is no number here, so we know this is y minus 0, so our second number is 0. So the center of my circle is at over -2, up 0. And then the radius of my circle is, this is the radius squared, so the square root of 16 is 4. So my radius is 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just going to kind of sketch, try and draw like a circle through this. Mine usually ends up looking like a diamond. I don't do a good job sketching. Okay, number 4. X squared plus y minus 1 equals 9. Well, x squared is really x minus 0. Y minus 1, y minus 1. And then 9 is the same thing as 3 squared. So here's the information I'm looking for. This guy, and this guy. Center of my circle is at 0, 1. So over 0, up 1. My radius is 3, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. Over 1, 2, 3, down 1, 2, 3, left 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to kind of sketch a circle through these points, doing the best I can. Should look something like this. Okay, number 5. Write an equation of a circle that contains each set of points, then graph the circle. So we're down here. Okay, for this first one, F, G, and H, I went ahead and sketched these 3 points. So all 3 of these are on the circle. So we know there's a circle going through these, okay? So they're all equal distance from the center of the circle. So the center of the circle must be right here, equal distance between all of them, right? So the center of my circle is over 1, up 2. Actually, backwards 1, up 2. And it looks like the radius of my circle, the distance from any point on the circle to the middle, is 1 unit. So r equals 1. So when I write my equation, I'm going to write x minus -1 squared. I'll simplify it in a second. Plus y minus 2 squared equals the radius squared. And then I can simplify. So this double minus sign becomes a plus. X plus 1 squared plus, I don't have to simplify anything here, y minus 2 squared equals, and 1 squared, of course, is just 1. So here's my equation of that circle. And I can look really quick and say, okay, this is a -1 because there's a plus sign here. -1, this is a 2. So the center of my circle is at backwards 1, up 2. Backwards 1, up 2. And the radius of my circle is 1 unit. Okay, next one. Same thing here. It gave us 3 points, R, S, and T. I went ahead and sketched them. So we know our circle contains these points. So it's going to look something like this. So what point is equal distance from these 3 inside the circle? Well, looks like probably right here. This is 2 units away here, 2 units away here, 2 units away here. So I could assume there's another point 2 units here, and these would all connect, right? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me, goodness. Okay, so our center of our circle is right here. It's back 2, down 1. And the radius of our circle looks like it's 2 units. So when I write my equation, I'm going to write x minus -2 squared plus y minus negative 1 squared equals the radius, which is 2 squared. And then I can simplify. So that double minus sign becomes a plus, so I get x plus 2, y plus 1, and 2 squared is 4. So there's the equation of that guy. If you have any questions on equations of circles, please let me know.